This is Novel Idea, and I'm Dia, and today we are going to be doing the Three Musketeers tag. I was tagged by Kelly over at Kelly Reads a Lot. Thank you so much, Kelly, for tagging me in this. I'll put the original link to the original tag video down below in the description, as well as Kelly's video, so you can go watch hers. And let's just jump right in. All right, so the first prompt is Alexandre Dumas was born in the 19th century. Do you have a favorite time period to read about? And if yes, what do you like about it? So I think my favorite time period to read about is ancient or medieval. I think I like that time period simply because it is so foreign to me and to my way of thinking, and yet feels very comfortable. I don't know how else to put it. I think ancient or medieval. Question number 2 is Alexandre Dumas was born in France. Is there a French author whose book you would recommend? And I think that I have several French authors that I have read, but the one that I really, really love is Antoine De Saint-Exupery, and he is the author of A Little Prince. And I have collected The Little Prince over the years, and I just love that book. I recently read a Gabrielle Roy book, and she is a French-Canadian author, and I thoroughly enjoyed her book as well, and it's called The Road Past Altamont. And I just found another book by her, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Question number 3 is Alexandre Dumas often based his novels on real-life historical events and figures. Is there a person from the past, artist, politician, simply anyone, you would like to meet? And Kelly answered it as Jesus. I, of course, would love to meet Jesus face to face, but I think that other than him, I would say St. Francis of Assisi. I would love to meet St. Francis. I would love to meet Gladys Aylward or Francis Chisholm. Both are missionaries to Asian countries, and having spent quite a bit of time in Korea and things, I think I would really love to meet them and just hear about their love for the Asian culture and people. So St. Francis of Assisi, Gladys Aylward, Francis Chisholm. Those are the people besides Jesus that I would like to meet. Number 4 is Alexandre Dumas wrote some pretty chunky books. For example, Count of Monte Cristo is over 1,000 pages, as opposed to his son, Alexandre Dumas Jr., whose only book, The Lady of the Camellias, is less than 180 pages. What is the longest and shortest book you've read? So I had to go through my books. I think that the longest book I've ever read is Shogun, and besides the Bible, which I have read through several times and try to read through pretty much every year. I think at most of the time with the Bible, I end up reading it like every year and a half, all the way through. I just got finished with Don Quixote earlier this year. I have read The Count of Monte Cristo. I have read Les Miserables. I have read Lord of the Rings, which I count as one book, even though it's divided up into 3 now. It wasn't originally meant that way. What else do I have? I've read Atlas Shrugged. I have read War and Peace. I've read a lot of really large books. I don't know which one of them is the absolute longest. I think it would depend on your copy of the book. Shortest book I have ever read is probably The Practice of the Presence of God, and that is by Brother Lawrence, and it is about 64 pages. I also have read The Pearl by John Steinbeck, and that is only about 90 pages. Question number 5. I don't think there is a video in which I would not mention my favorite book, The Three Musketeers. Is there a book you want everyone to know about? It can be your favorite book of all time or some recent read that you'd recommend to other people. And for this, I don't really know. I think everyone has such varied taste, and you want different books for different moods, and you want different books for different reasons. And so, I mean, I love Jane Eyre, and I will laud that. And I love Persuasion, and I love The Secret Garden, and I love Anne of Green Gables. But not everybody wants to read those books. And I think when I'm talking with people and I'm listening to kind of their mood and what they're going through in life, that those are when I have a book pop into my head that I'm going to recommend to somebody. Number 6. One of the most favorite quotes in literature is "All for one and one for all." This came from the pen of Alexandre Dumas. Do you keep track of your favorite quotes when reading? And do you have at least one quote that you'd like to share? If so, from what book? I love quotes. I have found that with the profusion of availability on the internet, I don't have to keep track of them like I used to. I also don't remember them as well as I used to when I did keep track of them. But I do have some favorites, and I will share a few of them that I went ahead and looked up. And so one is, once a thing is known to be possible, people will try to achieve it. And that's from The Price of Spring by Daniel Abraham. You don't go through grief like a chore just to get it done. You can't push and get through it faster. The best you can do is live and change the way that you always do. And time will come, and the time will come when you aren't the same person who was in pain. And that also is from the Long Price Quartet and Daniel Abraham. Okay, this one is from Michael J. Sullivan, and it is, "Caught early enough, the waking world had no time to disguise itself into something mundane. Its enchantments proclaim it a place where anything is possible." And then the last one that I will share is actually from a nonfiction book, and the author's name is Vadi Bakum, and it is this: we can't expect what we allow Caesar to train and return to us to come back anything other than Roman. And he was just talking about government right there, but I think that goes across to just about anything. When we turn something over to someone else and we give them power over it, whatever they are is what it's going to come back to us as. Number 7. The Three Musketeers is a story with strong female characters who are brave, fearless, and yet gentle and loving. However, some of them prove to be truly evil. Do you have a favorite female fictional character? And the answer is yes, of course. A few of them, actually. I think that one of Wait, is that the right one? That's 8. I'm sorry, you guys. I read them out of order. I will go back to 7. One of them is Susan Sowerby. And this is a mother in the secret garden. It's Dickon and Martha's mother in the secret garden. And I love her for her wise and tender, thoughtful, caring, sheltering, supportive love that she shows to every single person that she meets. From Daughter of the Forest, I love Sorsha, and I love her because she is a loyal, loving, faithful, kind, fierce, feminine, determined, and fully flawed human being. And I love her story. And then of course Jane Eyre. And I love her because she is resilient and she is compassionate and she is gentle and still benevolent in spite of all that life has dealt her, and forgiving and very forbearing. Let's go back to 7. 7 is The Three Musketeers is a book of strong friendships and allegiances. Do you have a favorite fictional friendship? There is a book that's not very well known now, or people have heard of it but maybe not read it, and it's called Elegance of the Hedgehog. And there are 3 main people in this friendship, but there's a 4th one that adds another little nuance to it, and I love them all. And that is Renee, Paloma, Kakuro, and Manuela. And it's just very unique. It's very special. It's endearing. I love the friendship there. Number 9 is there are more than 50 film adaptations of The Three Musketeers. Is there a favorite film adaptation that you enjoyed more than the actual book? Doesn't have to be one of Dumas' books, just any book that you've read and it's a film adaptation. And this one, so I'm not big on films to begin with. And usually if I like a film adaptation, it's because either it's done in a way that endears itself in and of itself to me, or I saw the film adaptation before I read the book. So those 2 things, but the only 3 that I thought of were Muppet Treasure Island. And again, it's singing and dancing. There's no singing and dancing in the book. It's weird little characters. There are no little weird characters in the book. I just love it though. It's funny, it makes me laugh. I love the music and just kind of the odd sort of way that it tells the actual story. It's fun. I also love 2 Dickens adaptations, and one is Oliver with the exclamation point, and that is also a musical. And so I love that one partly because of who they found to play Oliver. And Mark Lester and the way that they describe Oliver in the book is just absolutely perfect. So I love Oliver, the adaptation. And then I also love the most recent Nicholas Nickleby, I think it's the most recent Nicholas Nickleby adaptation of Charles Dickens. I love that one too. Number 10, and that is, I own 3 different editions of The Musketeers. Is there a book that you own multiple editions of? And I already kind of hinted at this because I own multiple editions of The Little Prince, and I own multiple editions of Jane Eyre and The Hobbit. I think that's most of what I own multiple editions of. All right, last question. Have you read The Three Musketeers or any other books by Alexandre Dumas? And if so, which ones? So I went back and looked at Alexandre Dumas' bibliography, and these are the ones that I know I have read. I have read Prince of Thieves, The Nutcracker, Three Musketeers, Man in the Iron Mask, Count of Monte Cristo, and The Pale Lady, which is a vampire story. All right, you guys, that is all of the questions. They want me to tag some people. I don't know who all has done this, so if I tag you and you have already done it, forgive me. I would love to hear from Courtney Reads. If you haven't done this, Courtney, I would love to hear yours. And Gem at Gemma Books, if you haven't done this tag yet, I would love to hear your answers for it. And Christy at Dostoevsky in Space, if you haven't done this one yet, I would love to know your answers. And that is everybody I'm going to tag. So if you haven't done this tag yet and you want to, and I didn't tag you, consider yourself tagged, and please let me know so that I can go and watch yours and see your answers. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you again on Friday. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to. Bye.